What's up, Next family? We are going to do a great video today for you. Hopefully it'll be encouraging for you. We have a lot of people here, some seniors that have graduated, class of 2020, but we also have a very special guest. One of the things about the Next family is we always want to honor those who come before us and the things that they put in place. And so we invited Shane, the youth pastor before me, to come and to kind of get an experience to be here with the students that he's invested a lot of his life and energy into. But today we're going to talk about the high school life, what it's like, some of the challenges, and you'll hear from our seniors about what their experience was like, and hopefully it'll help and bless you as we go forward. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go around and have each senior introduce their name, what school they graduated from, and also what their future plans are now that they're graduating. So I guess we'll start with Blair.
Oh gosh. Hi, I'm Blair. I'm graduating from Camden Early College, and I'll be going to UNC Charlotte in the fall.
Hey, I'm Lorelle. I graduate from Victory Christian School here in Elizabeth City. I plan to attend Lee University up in Cleveland, Tennessee this fall.
Hi guys, my name is Riley Pingree. I go to Camden Early College, which I'm going to be graduating along with Blair. I'm going to UNC Chapel Hill in the fall to study biology.
Hi, I'm Will Luther. I'm graduating from Nansen Suffolk Academy, and I'll be going to Gardner-Webb next year.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'll be graduating from Albemarle School, and I'll be going to Barton College.
Awesome. So we're going to do just a kind of discussion base. There is no structure to this. It's feel free, off the top of our head answers. So the first question for you guys today is, man, obviously in the midst of a coronavirus that's broke out and kind of canceled the last part of your senior year and kind of a lot of the experiences that come with that. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts and feelings are about how it's happened, how your senior year has come to a close. You know, what's been going through your mind, what feelings have come up, like what's been your last 2-3 months of life felt like in the midst of all this?
Well, I guess you just have to adapt and overcome. We have the good days and we have the bad days, but most importantly, you just gotta figure out what we can do to make the best of it, because you know nothing is gonna go back to normal anytime soon, and we don't have that much time left, so we gotta see the future and try to make everything positive.
Right, I agree with that too. Probably the hardest thing for me was not getting the proper goodbyes, because you've worked so hard up until now, and it's like you get your graduation and you get all this stuff, you get to say bye to your teachers. I don't think anyone's missing, shoot, I'm so missing being in math class right now. Yeah. We're not missing that, but we're missing to say goodbye to the things that we've had for so long, and so that's hard. You have to let yourself kind of grieve it in one way. But yeah, eventually you have to move on. I agree with that. It is what it is.
Completely new life.
Yeah.
New start.
Does anyone feel kind of slighted in a way? I mean, you're missing prom. Does anyone kind of feel like, man, that's something that, and you know, that's gonna not mark you or scar you for the rest of your life, but something that you're gonna look back on in 15 years and say, man, I miss that. I hate that I missed prom, or I hate that I missed walking across the stage. Does anyone feel that way?
Actually, I have like LED lights in my room, like the ones you see all over TikTok. And so literally what I did was I just turned on the disco lights. I turned on like a 2000 throwback playlist, and I just danced on my prom until I got bored.
So you had prom.
I had.
She had her own prom.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It was Blair's prom.
Way to make do.
The prom queen, Daisy, my dog.
Wasn't even you?
No, of course.
That's great. So look, what is something that happened in high school, or something that you went through that you didn't expect to happen, you weren't prepared for? Give us something.
Anybody?
So I got something. Stress. Stress was awful for me, jumping from the 8th grade to the 9th grade, because there's like a world of a difference. High school is like a whole new world. So really it was kind of stressful, and if I had to do high school over again, I feel like I would have been able to handle those things better, but it's almost like you have to trudge through it and you have to kind of go through it. It's not like it could have been any better. It could have, but really you just kind of have to grow and face those challenges. But I wish it wasn't that stressful.
And one thing I didn't expect was how fast things go from like 0 to 60. So like from middle school, we were all innocent, and right when I got into freshman year of high school, it was all this crazy stuff that I wasn't used to. And you have to learn how to grow up, but also still be a kid and enjoy the time you have in high school, because it goes by so fast. Because I was just here freshman, and then now I'm sitting here, I'm getting ready to go to college, so enjoy it.
And it only goes faster.
Yeah. So how about like, we're talking about some of the things like stress and, 0 to 60, but when we talk about like expecting things like socially, like your life goes from maybe, and I experienced this in my high school years where I had a small group of friends in middle school, but when I got to high school, I wasn't expecting those friends to drop off and go different ways. And then have a whole new group of friends by the time I graduated high school that weren't even my friends in middle school. Does anyone experience that kind of social unexpectedness of what high school has brought? I mean, there are obviously drama, there's gossip, there's fake friends in high school, but that's the thing, part of life. Was anyone kind of caught off guard by how their friend group and social life has changed in high school?
Okay, so like in middle school, I feel like I was very cliquey. Like I hung out with like the same 4 or 5 people. And then I noticed by like the end of high school, I'll just hang out with like whoever's around me. Like if I vibe with you, I vibe with you.
Friend.
Yeah.
That's why everybody loves you, Blair.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I had a bunch of friends in middle school, but then by the end of my senior year, I had like 5 that were really close. And then we all just like hung out at lunch, and then we all did our own thing. And then like the rest of the people just dropped off because they weren't like believing in the same stuff as we were. And like, I'm not saying like what they were believing was wrong, but like we just had different goals for high school and we just wanted different things.
So kind of switching gears a little bit, we've talked about challenges and unexpected things, but about accomplishments. Now, some of you have accomplishments, coming out the wazoo, but for some of you, accomplishments look different. I know for me, one of the biggest accomplishments of high school was just graduating. A lot of people in my family didn't graduate high school. And so what are some of the accomplishments that you guys have had in your 4 years of high school? Talk a little bit about why that meant so much to you. Like, why did it mean so much to have that accomplishment? It could look at any way, whatever you consider that to be an accomplishment.
I think it's hard to brag on yourself, honestly. So it's hard to say, oh, what have I accomplished?
Right.
But I guess if we go super personal or whatever, or something awfully specific, going out, Blair does theater. So Blair knows how after you finish the show, you feel accomplished. Like you said that it's over, but don't you feel accomplished?
Oh,
like you memorized lines, you went to all the rehearsals, you dealt with all the people, and you got through that. So for me to go out on such a good note, I went out on a good note for my last high school production, so that meant a lot to me. So that was a big accomplishment in my life.
What was your last high school show?
Technically it wasn't a high school production, but it was Anne of Green Gables. That was my last one.
Oh,
So
nice.
I went out with the bang, as you say, I guess. So that was nice. It felt like a proper goodbye. So
She played the lead, just throwing that out there. She was the Anne.
it was fun.
Well, for me to add, my accomplishment in high school was I faced a lot of adversity with people telling me I couldn't do stuff either because of my gender or just what I believed in and stuff. And I was in a ROTC type atmosphere most of high school, which I was surrounded by guys and males, so it was definitely harder for me. And I ended up being battalion commander, which runs the whole thing. And that really, like today, I feel very accomplished because I still did it no matter what people said and what I faced. And that's what I think about high school is you trudge through all those challenges. And one day you will reach through and you say, I'm pretty proud of myself. I did not give up one bit. That's good.
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say starting to run my own lawn mowing business and because I had nobody else to blame but myself for all the mistakes and all the problems. So it made me mature and actually having to be responsible and actually being responsible for my money and making sure I had money for gas and making sure I just had money for repairs and everything I needed to do.
So if you guys could go back, we just talked about accomplishments, but if you guys could go back and change something about your experience in high school, maybe something you did or whatever, what would that be?
Don't stress as much. It's not worth it. I know, sophomore year, I was so worried about all these little things. And I think you take years off your life at one point because you're so stressed and you cry and you're like, this is the worst, but it's only the tiniest little blip on your whole life spectrum and you'll get through it.
I feel like we stress about things too because we put a lot of value into things that don't matter.
Yes.
I don't know, certain relationships, you look back, it's that wasn't even worth it. I feel like we could put our focus into other things that mean more. Especially we put value too much into grades. You get an F on that one test, it was that's your whole world, I studied so much for that test.
Yeah.
But it's chill. It doesn't, like right now, I don't remember a test I failed because I let it go. So I would tell my past self, I guess, to just don't let that mean so much. Things that don't mean a lot, don't let them mean a lot.
Yeah, and at the same time, you have to face all these challenges growing up to realize who you are, and it shapes your person. And if you didn't have these challenges and different types of things, you wouldn't be who you are at the end of it. So you learn.
I mean, don't be so worried about what everybody thinks of you, because that's not what really matters at the end of the day. Like, I stressed so much about what people thought of me, and like, it was just too stressful. And like, once I gave that up, life got so much easier.
That's a big one today anyways, with social media and everything and the pressure. I feel like your generation faces more pressure than any generation before because of social media, and you're always on, and there's so many filters, and you've always got to be the best at this, and it's really because you see everybody's highlight reels, you know? So the fact that you can look back and say, like, I'm just gonna be me, just like you with your friends, Blair. You know, I'm not gonna be so cliquish. I'm gonna vibe with whoever's around me. And the older you get, I know I sound like an old man saying this right now, but the older you get, the more you find importance in that. The older you get, you find out who your friends are because you don't care about the little things that used to be big things, you know?
Right.
It's huge.
So we'll kind of switch up. We've been talking a lot about, just your personal high school experience, what that's looked like on the logistic ground level, but we'll talk more now about like what your faith has and how your faith has played out in the halls of your schools as you've gone through school for 4 years. So one of the first questions I want to ask is, how has your faith helped you in difficult times in high school, whether that's when you failed a test like she was talking about, or when your friends left you, or when you were stressed out? Like, how has your faith helped you through those difficult seasons of life that you've had over the past 4 years?
But I know for me, my junior year, my grandma, she was in the process of passing away. And that was really, my aunt when I was a sophomore, and faith was really the only thing that pushed me through. My parents were there, but sometimes they didn't understand. I go to school, no one really there got what I was going through, and my parents aren't there to spend time with me and understand and cry with me. So God was really the only thing I had, and the only thing I had to lean on through all those times of spend nights at the hospital, like going early in the morning to school, going late at night. It was just a very tough time, and faith brought me through.
That's really good. When did you say that was? Junior year or something like that?
Yeah, junior for my grandma and then sophomore for my aunt.
Right. My junior year, like, completely honestly speaking, I was going through a lot of depression, and depression looks different for everyone. It's like, oh, you went through depression? It's like, yeah, I did. On your own level, you do. So when I went through that, people could tell I was shaken and I was shook up, but I never compromised my faith and said I hate God or like cursed God or whatever. But he was always someone that I could go to, and it was like a venting process for me almost, because nobody else could understand. And you can't always expect people to, because everyone's at a different level. But as far as like faith in the hallways and things, I wasn't ever scared to share how I felt with other people. And it can be even hard when other people are Christians. You don't even want to share it with them sometimes, because they're different types of Christians in a way. But I was never afraid to share that, and so God is always my buddy.
I mean, I'd say it gave me hope, because I was going through a really dark period of my life during my freshman and sophomore year. And like, I just felt like nobody could relate to me, and I felt alone. So I felt like nobody would understand. So I never vented to anybody, but I felt like God was the only person that was there for me at that time. And like, it was the only thing that I could turn to.
That's big, yeah. Would you guys say that it was difficult to live out your faith in high school?
It's gonna be hard, and people, they're not gonna get you sometimes, and that's okay. As long as you know what you want and you know what you believe and the end goal, you'll be fine.
Yeah, sometimes that's about like living it out, you know, like your friends may not see eye to eye as far as your faith goes, but just who you are, you know, how you respond to things. When they need you, you're always there. So even though they may not believe what you believe or see faith the way that you see it, they can honestly say, yeah, well, when things happen, Riley's always there. Right. Or when things like this happen, she responds this way, and it's because of your faith. So even though they may not see it now, through time, that's the best way to live your faith out. But I think it is hard in high school, especially when you try to be something you're not, or live through these filters like we talked about. You're about to say something, Blair, and I cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. I brought a guy to church, like here, to like just see a service. And literally the car ride back to his house, he spent the entire time like just making fun of it. And I was like, dude, please, I beg, stop. Like, you can make fun of them all. Like, I can make fun of them all I want. That's because I know them. Like, you're a newcomer here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's true too what Shane's talking about, you know, this whole idea of living out your faith. Sometimes you'll bring them to a church service, to a next event, and for them, that's not, they don't vibe with that. You know, that's not their scene, that's not what they're like, but you can still bring that same message to them in your relationship, you know, and how you love them, and how when they do make fun of what you're passionate about or what you love, how you respond in grace and how you respond in love, and you know, that's important too. So one of the things I want to talk about next is actually Next. And so how has Next ministry, and obviously I wouldn't know because I just got here, but you know, you guys will have to speak more to that, Shane can as well, but how has Next helped you grow in your faith over the past 4 years? I mean, whether it's something we offered, an experience you had, or even if it was just, you know, someone you met at Next, a volunteer or Shane that's helped you personally, how has this ministry, this family kind of helped you grow in your last 4 years in your faith walk?
I've been to Forest Park for 5 years maybe now, and talk about Next and Forest Park collectively, they're so accepting of like everyone, and they have a reputation for that. And that is like almost impossible to find that level of acceptance. And I was still like a preteen or whatever when I first came, so I wasn't rock solid in everything I believed. But Forest Park definitely helped me to realize the guy who didn't think he was worth it or didn't think he was valuable. And so it helped me to take on that view and see we don't need to criticize everyone. We don't know what they've been through, and we don't know where they're at in their level of faith. So that's a big thing. And then like, to personally compliment Shane and saying, because I've known him longer and everything, like you said.
No,
like,
I already take it personally.
like the class that we had together and stuff where you got to really pour into everyone, to see your heart like that, that was very encouraging for me to see that you cared so much about everyone, and that I had never seen like I do know quite a few youth pastors. I'd never seen like, or whatever you want to call it, youth preacher. I don't know, you went back and forth on that title a lot, so we'll just say youth guy, I don't know. But you brought the excitement to it, you brought the life to it, and that meant a lot to me for someone to be so excited about us. So.
I'm so glad you brought up 12 Deep. 12 Deep, that was life-changing. Being forced to just sit there and read parts of the Bible is something I needed. Like, I may have been like complaining like, oh, I don't want to journal today. But you know, I needed it.
Right.
I was a sad gal, and by the end of 12 Deep, I was better. Like, not entirely like happy, but like better.
We're getting there.
Yeah. I wasn't happy, but I sure was better.
Right.
That's good.
I mean, I'd say when I first started coming to Next, I was in a really bad spot in my life, and it was like one of the most challenging times. And then with Next and all the encouragement I felt from them, and then the one-on-one with Shane and him like trying to pour into me and trying to help me through the valley, I mean, that's what really got me through. And then I was living off my parents' faith at that time too, and so I finally grew my own faith and started to live, like, have my own personal relationship with God and not just trying to fake it anymore.
I already talked, but I guess add something to that. When you were saying that like Shane cared and stuff, and like he saw you, he saw the individual, it means a lot when people don't just see you as a group. When they see you as an individual, it means something. Like Shane, I'll be honest, like he would come up to me and they're like, how you doing there? I'm like, I'm not doing too good. But that didn't stop you from asking people how they were doing. You would still do that, and I'm like, I don't know. Like when I first met you, I was like, I don't know about this guy. He asked me how I'm doing a lot. I don't know how I feel about that. But eventually I was like, hey, it's because he cares. So that meant a lot to me, that you never stopped doing that.
So we talked about accomplishments, we've talked about things you've learned, struggles, and I know that Preston's idea behind this video was to help those coming behind you, to help those students. They can't necessarily watch a video and it prepare them for high school, but when they can get your advice because you've walked through it, you've been through it, you know, that's always a game changer. So I think it'd be cool to go around the circle one by one and just share, you know, what you would leave behind, just a tidbit, some advice, which you would let everybody know. I know you've shared some of it already, but let them know exactly what they should be prepared for, and how you handled it, and just what you want to leave with them, even if it's 2 words, you know, leave them with something special.
I guess if the message I really want to leave to people is it costs $0 to be kind to people. Like, you don't have to be ruthless. Yeah.
That's true. I would say, what would I say? Kind of going back to what I said earlier, don't take things too seriously. Don't not have fun. Have fun, relax, and don't let anybody belittle your problems or let you, I mean, don't stress out, but like, I don't know, just relax, have fun, enjoy it.
Be as genuine as possible. I know people go in high school like, oh, she's fake, whatever. Be you, be genuine, and the others, your friends eventually will come along, so don't worry about it too much, but be you.
You gotta let people in, and like when you're going through a hard time, or else you're gonna let all that anger and pain build up inside of you, and you're just gonna explode, and you're end up gonna like hurting somebody else, or you're gonna make somebody else feel bad for something that's going on inside of you.
I think of something.
Just tell them to follow their dreams.
Follow your dreams. You got this.
Well, that's kind of our wrap up right there, guys. We hope this is a blessing for you. We hope, obviously, you'll be able to take this if you're an 8th grader and you're going into freshman year in the midst of COVID-19 and saying, how in the world am I going to adjust to a new life that has new pressures, new challenges? Man, hopefully these testimonies of how students just like you have faced things that you'll face, how they've got through them, how their faith has grown. And hopefully we'll see you 4 years from now doing just like they're doing, giving their testimonies to everybody. See ya.